Hello everybody, SlyJCool here, and today I'm back with another Minecraft building time-lapse. This time, we're going to be building a small carding mill on the banks of a river. Let's get started. To begin, I lay out the areas that are going to stick over the water farther out than the land already reaches. Then, I clear one of the large spruce trees as it is in the way of where I plan on building. Next, I fill in the foundations and walls of the stone platforms with cobblestone. Then, I slightly extend the platform on the left and begin adding spruce details to stack up the second layer. Next, I fill in the empty spaces with red terracotta, afterwards decorating it with red concrete powder and red concrete. Then, I plan the outline of the roof with black stone bricks. After figuring out the roof design I want on the one side, I copy the same design onto the other. Next, I add windows along the second floor of the build, including a large bay window on either end of the building. Then, I slightly extend the platform on the right before adding walls to keep it a little bit more enclosed. Then, I build the actual water wheel that will be powering the mechanics inside the mill. Soon after, I texture the ground next to the building and the pier with coarse dirt and path blocks to make it seem as if it has been walked upon and worn over time. Then, I add a spruce slab to act as a step onto the path that then leads away from the watermill into the forest. Next, I add a red and green flag in the center of the walked-in area to act as a centerpiece. Then I add some mossy cobblestone and coarse dirt to the pier to make it seem older and walked upon. I also add some mossy stone bricks and mossy cobblestone to the actual watermill to make it seem as if it has been there for longer and has aged some. Afterwards, I add some bushes made of spruce leaves around the base of the building, as well as some vines also made of spruce leaves creeping up onto the roof. Then, I add some roots to the bottom of the bigger trees to make it seem as if they are more rooted in the ground and are more firm. I also add a few more spruce bushes around the courtyard. Then, I add a small dark oak cart to make it seem as if wool is being carried here, because that is what a carding mill is for, after all. Then, I add a small flower pot area in front of the mill to make it seem as if one of the people has a hobby as a gardener. Then I add a smokestack for staying warm in the cold winters that happen in this area. Next, I head into the waterlogged area and add some remnants of a stone structure, probably 2 buildings. No one knows why they are here, and most people don't go near them. It's nice to add a little bit of story like this into your builds because it gives them more depth and adds layers to your world. After I lay out the foundations of the ruined houses, I add some mossy cobblestone and cobblestone bricks to make it seem more worn, as well as bone mealing the water nearby it to add seagrass and short seagrass to make it look as if the water plants have grown around it and surrounded it. I also do this in the other areas around the structures that stick into the water. Next, I add a small dark oak next to the fishing dock I made earlier. Then, I decide that the roof of the mill is looking a little bit plain, so I go in and texture it with some cracked black stone bricks and polished black stone. Then, I extend the path a little bit farther into the forest, adding rocks and bushes, and changing up the trees a little to make them look nicer. I also use bone meal to make it seem as if there is grass, ferns, and other plants growing along the sides of the road, where people do not walk. Once the path is complete, I decide to build a small home that can house the people who own the mill and their family. So I build a small path leading off to the side from the main walked-in area by the mill and begin laying out the foundations of a small house in a similar style to that of the mill. After the foundations are laid out, I clear the smaller and larger trees around it to add a little bit of room so that the windows can actually look out on something other than just trees. Once the main structure of the house is complete, I add a black stone roof. Then I add some spruce, bushes, and vines creeping up onto the top of the house. Once that is complete, I add some cobblestone to wall off what will eventually be a small garden near to the house. In it, someone who lives here is growing carrots, possibly the same person who planted the flowers in the flower box earlier. I terraform up the area around the house a little, just to make it look a little bit nicer and less blocky, and add some more path block and coarse dirt to make it look as if people have walked over here. Then, I bone meal in a few trees, edit the leaves a little, and add roots. Add some mossy cobblestone to the garden area, as well as the house. And with all of that complete, most of the build is done. Let's see some cinematic shots of the finished product. As the video nears its end, I would like to thank you all for watching and remind you to, if you enjoyed watching the video, leave it a like, and if you enjoy my content in general, please subscribe. See you next time.